This is UMAR AHMED for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. I'm joined by promoter, manager, matchmaker, boxing connoisseur Al Siesta. Al, of course, you've had some news regarding Cold Wars. The first show has been pushed back a week. Just to tell us the information on the date and then the reason and why this has been pushed back, Al.
Okay, so first of all, I had a conversation with first of all, good morning, brother.
Good morning.
Yeah,
to you as well.
and not nice, very kind of you for having me again with such a little kind of short notice and stuff. Thank you. Right, let me. I spoke to the British Boxing Board of Control. They raised concerns in regards to self-isolation upon return of the fighters to the UK. I felt that it was a bit strange because anyone who would go on holiday or would do anything or travel abroad, if the self-isolation still upon return in place, we just have to do it. Simple as that. So, I mean, that's not the reason I felt to concern and prevent someone for traveling somewhere where it's safe to take the fight, work and earn some money. But as I respect British Boxing Board of Control and they all about fighters' safety, and I do understand. And that was just a concern that wasn't like trying to persuade me or trying to forbid. That was an advice from British Boxing Board of Control. So I kind of thought about it and I thought, okay, let's compromise here. Let's just push back a week because I heard that self-isolation in the United Kingdom allegedly will be cancelled or lifted from 15th of July, which is a day before my first event now, because I was going on the 9th. So potentially they're coming back on the 10th and they have to self-isolate. So now we're going on the 16th. So they're coming back on 17th and they don't have to self-isolate in God's willing. So I've done my compromising and I fully understand what British Boxing Board means. So if we've got the situation where we still have to self-isolate, then it's bad. So we'll take the self-isolation precautions and people will stay at home for 2 weeks. And that is the main reason why I had to postpone my show. So because of British Boxing Board of Control's advice to take that precautions. So that was the main reason. Otherwise, I'm buzzing. I've been up from 4 o'clock in the morning doing the rest of the matchmaking, talking to people, speaking, looking at the flights. The Minsk flights from London actually are available now. You can fly today if you want to, and but you will have to self-isolate in Minsk till 21st of June. From 21st of June next week, their self-isolation in Belarus will be lifted. So by the way, I'm saying Belarus because I have now mentioned that it's Minsk, Belarus. This is the only country alongside Sweden who hasn't implemented the lockdown because they straight away implemented social distancing, masks and gloves, and they tackled the pandemic that way, same as Swedish. So therefore, they kept running with their football league, as you know, in Belarus, and actually even crowd allowed if there's a social distancing in place. So that country is well advanced. They understand what to do. They run boxing, kickboxing, and MMA events all throughout the pandemic. So they are very experienced federation. They are also affiliated with EBU, European Boxing Union, which is partnership with British Boxing Board of Control, and a family, I call it EBU family, a federation, which means they are fully legal to operate in Europe, if you know what I mean, and licensed. Mm-hmm.
Have you just given us the locations then?
Yes, I've given you the locations. It's Minsk, Belarus. And the flights are already flying from London to Belarus, by the way. Yeah.
So when you decided to push it back a week because of the self-isolation rules in the UK won't be in place when the fighters come back, what have the British board said about sparring and also not your fighters, but British fighters going into Europe to fight there? Have they made a comment on this, or is it just they can't really say anything on this?
Yes, there's been legislation out about sparring. Sparring is officially allowed in the gyms now. And as long as the things like ventilation implemented and people, those watching sparring, keep social distancing and so on and so forth. So it's already happening. People are already sparring.
Right?
I think a couple of days ago, but I remember In the beginning of June, Sparring was mentioning when people may come back to their gyms, and advice was not to take spar. You see, the situation is when government tells you people may come back to work and people may travel, it means you're not forbid to travel and go to work. What means be careful when you do that. So British Boxing Board, when they called me, that was their advice. Al, what about this and this and this? They didn't say, no, you can't run that, you can't do that. No, because they can't do that legally. People starved from money financially and from activity, so everyone understands. We're all professionals at the end of the day. We're managers, matchmakers, promoters, fighters. Well, this is our bread. I mean, there are other promoters who boxing for some is hobby. And there are other big promoters like Matchrooms and Queensberry's, who's got massive television contracts and so on and so forth. So they are safe. I am in a unique situation. Boxing is 24/7 for me. This is my full-time occupation. So I need to earn, and I have forced to think outside the box. And that's why I chose to Belarus, into the safest European destination, because I need to earn and I need to create opportunities for others to earn. And also I have commitments. I've got commitments to fulfill with my television partner. So that's why. So sparring is in place, by the way, now, and people are sparring, and they've got plenty of time for the camp, for spar camp. Plenty. First show is on 16th, 1 month away. I mean,
when are you going to announce names, Al?
I announced most of the names now. Not most of the names. I announced about, I'd say 30% of the names. The announcement's coming very, very shortly. Today, one more fighter going to break the news from Wales. He's got cracking fight against the guy who recently challenged for the world title. So that's wonderful. And I let him to announce it. I let him to announce it. I don't want to spoil his party, you see. And so, man, the fights are really, really good fights. And since then, I had some British fighters coming out and saying they would like to take part. And they are cracking fighters. They would crack those Russians, you know, the levels are really high. If now it's 50-50, there are fighters came and asked me if they can participate from United Kingdom who are making Russians, their opponents, underdogs. Genuinely. So interest was fantastic. Although, on the other hand, there are some UK promoters, managers who, I don't know what is it, trying to spoil the party, try to put some spanner into works of Siesta boxing, trying to just becoming difficult. They're depriving their fighters from taking opportunities. They're not conveying the messages to their fighters. They're keeping it secret. Then fighter contacted me, DMing me, saying, Mr. Siesta, I heard about your shows. I really want to take place. I really want to take part in it. And I'm thinking, I asked your manager, why didn't he send a message? So I would speak to the manager, and the manager is saying, no, Al, no, I don't think it's a good idea. He's a young lad and stuff like that. You see, they got this old school preconception. Guys, times are changing. Boxing will never be the same again. 50-50 is all the way. People need to learn their craft as they go. Deep waters from the outset. And that comes for, sorry, that comes for everyone in every country. Russia, England, Germany, United Kingdom, United States. You'll find that matchmaking in this country, in United Kingdom, is the safest. Is the safest. There's no anywhere else in competitive fights and television events will you see such safe fights as you see in England. You've got main event, which is kind of 50-50. You've got co-main event, which is 60-40. And then the rest, fighters fighting against inferior fighters. Am I right? That's what you see.
I know what you're referring to, yeah.
That's what you see. That's what you see on TV. That will stop from today. I'm telling you. The fights, if everyone would have been adopting this ethos, we wouldn't have no Manny Pacquiao's, no Bernard Hopkins, nobody. We wouldn't have any big stars in boxing because of this. Do you know what I mean? Mayweather arguably was very protected, but he still took really tough fights, arguably lost twice, And because he's been protected, all his 10 last fights in Nevada or Las Vegas, people were buying tickets and watching pay-per-view, hoping that he's going to get banged out. That's what it was. He was a nemesis of boxing fans. They want to see him fail. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So everyone used to buy the tickets and watch the fights, hoping that he's going to get banged out, but he was so well protected. Guys, let's don't walk that path, because Mayweather is unique. He's also super, super talented. So he was very talented, could really fight, and he was protected. Same as Rocky Marciano, I believe. But protecting mediocre fighters just because they sell lots of tickets and usually short-term gain, and then the fighter, I mean, people will ask you, when are you fighting for the title? When you go? I mean, people aren't stupid. With this lockdown, has been revelation. The consciousness now on the next level, and it comes to boxing as well. Everyone knows what's going on now, and people don't want to see shit fights. People don't want to see mismatches. People want to see competitive fights right from the outset, from the debut onwards.
Al, before I let you go, have you got, I know I asked you this last time about Luther Clay and Chris Kongo. Have we got a date penciled in now?
Look, it's Matchroom's show, isn't it? It's Fight Camp.
I know you can't tell us the date, but is there a date set now?
100%. There's 2 dates, and it's just 1 week apart. And I can tell you more. I mean, I hope Eddie won't get disheartened by me saying that. It's in August. Okay. So everything goes according to plan. I mean, Matchroom will make their announcement in due course when they're ready to do so. But the fight is on. Luther Clay is firing. He's in camp. Chris Kongo as well. I mean, fantastic. It's coming. It's coming. I can't wait as well. And hopefully, I mean, when my Cold War's finish, I can come back and relax and watch Luther Clay fight. You know what I mean? My last date of my Cold Wars is 6th of August. So hopefully there's no self-isolation in place. I'll be back, and I'll be at that Fight Camp, elaborate location that Matchroom is building right now, enjoying that fight and seeing my man doing the job, hopefully, in God's willing. You know? All
right, Al Siesta, best of luck with Cold Wars, and hopefully see you at Matchroom Fight Camp for Kongo and Clay. All right?
My brother, bless you and thank you so much. See you very soon.
See you, bye.